Comrade MP, Comrade Councillor, Comrade President, and other comrades on the platform, good evening. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. A visionary, a fighter for justice and equality, and a steadfast vice progress. This individual has committed his life to the betterment of Jamaica and the upliftment of our communities. Born in Mona, St. Andrew, and raised on the campus of the University of the West Indies, he was immersed from an early age in progressive ideals and a deep sense of civic responsibility. His political journey began in 2007 as a senator, and he served as Minister of Justice from 2012 to 2016, where he championed justice reform, the decriminalization of small amounts of marijuana. Under his leadership, the People's National Party continues to champion the values of unity, opportunity, and progress for all Jamaicans. Comrades, tonight, please join me in welcoming my next Prime Minister, your next Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Mark Jefferson Gold.
Yeah, well, this is being man representing from Mark Golding, a.k.a. Marky G. Yeah, they're not bad like me. Now let me know you. Them just see it. Yeah, man, from the TV. Zaga, Z. Stand diggy-diggy-ding-dong, diggy-diggy-ding-dong, diggy-diggy-ding-dong. Marky G, you know you are champion. Everybody wave on the right hand. Put up your fist. Hey, Marky G, we don't know so none of them not like me. See them all hype up, but that's still not spite me. Going in a cut and got you because I love in our yard. And none of them care. Hey, Marky G, we don't know so none of them not like me.
Pull up, selector. Pull it up. Comrade Chairman of the meeting. Comrade Councillor Carlton Bailey. It warms my heart to see the recovery that you are on your way to, and you've reached so far already. Respect due. It's a pleasure to be here, and I honor you tonight, my brethren. MP, I'm my good friend, Comrade Lowton Cousins, a great politician, a good friend, somebody who, when you have him in the house with you, he will have your back. And when you need political work to be done, you can rely on him to deliver. Yeah, man. Lowton, one Lowton, never two. Former MP Butch Ascot, former cabinet colleague of mine, also a good friend. Great to see you here again, Butch. Councillor candidates, Wavell Hines, Carla Watt, Dr. Dixon, who else we have here? Comrade Siam Barneswell, thank you. Yeah, man. And, whoa, Ethne Miller Simpson over in St. Andrew, where she's kicking up rumpus. Yeah, man. All of the councillors and councillor candidates, enough respect. Workers and warriors of the Milk River Division, I want to thank all of you for the victory last year, February, when you delivered one of the clean sweep that we enjoyed here in Southwest Clarendon. Yeah, man. Let the labor at them run up and down. And I must tell you, when I heard Lowton speak, it reminded me of the great potential of this constituency. First of all, you have Vernon Field, which, given our commitment to building out Jamaica as a logistics hub and connecting Jamaica to the international supply chain, leveraging our geographical location in the Caribbean Sea along the main trade routes and shipping lanes through the Panama Canal, the potential for Vernon Field is very great. And we need to just put our vision into practice so that it can become a central part of the economy of this area, creating wealth for the people here in Southwest Clarendon. You have other assets too. You have the Milk River Spa that has historical interest and increasingly stressful world where health and wellness is increasingly important to protect and preserve, the special waters of the Milk River Spa are of tremendous value, and we must invest and make it be what it can be as an attraction, bringing people from all over the world here who will spend their money and make the economy stronger. And then, of course, there is the sugar lands and the factory of Money Musk, which has been closed and which has caused the economic devastation to these parts. And I have had meetings with investors who are looking at reviving that factory. And many people think it can't be done, but they are confident that it can be done. And they are in the sugar production business in Guyana, India, and North America. And, we'll see what happens, but I would love to see a revival of the sugar industry here in this part of Clarendon, if it is possible. And if investors are willing to take the risk, then who knows? And then there's the Coast Road. The Coast Road that can take you, if you're leaving anywhere along the southeast corridor of Jamaica, and you need to go to the west or the southwest. You come off of the highway, bam, go down, fix up these roads which I drove on tonight, which are in such a deplorable condition because of the neglect of the central government agencies and the victimization of your MP because he's a strong comrade and him stand up to them and he don't take any nonsense from them. But that road along the coast through to Alligator Pond would open up a new vista of economic opportunity for Jamaica, for ecotourism, tourism which is fully integrated into the community, taking advantage of the beautiful scenic route that would provide. And of course, you have Farka Beach as well, which is another wonderful facility which I had the pleasure of visiting the last time I was here. So Southwest Clarendon, a PNP government, has a lot in store for you. It may take some time to build it out, but we have the vision and we have the man in Cousins who can help make it happen. So, comrades, we're meeting at a time when things in the news have reminded us of the importance of building back the love in Jamaica. Building back Jamaica as a caring society, a society that stands up for decency and moral values. In my budget presentation, I said that the next PNP government will initiate a process of moral revival in the country, working closely with civil society and the churches and other persons of good reputation and good standing to really try to deal with the situation that we see unfolding where women and children are being abused and murdered in this country. To see a nurse being violated on a public road. To hear about a 9-year-old girl raped and murdered. Other girls, other students going missing. Body found. It's happening too much, comrades. We brought legislation, which I was instrumental in formulating under Sister P towards the end of our last term in government. We tabled 2 bills which would have increased significantly the penalties applicable to violence against women and children. And this government has done nothing with them in their 9 years. We have a plan to build out centers in every parish where victims of gender-based violence, domestic violence can find some safety and security and support. Because we have to change the culture around how we deal with these matters and talk things through in a respectful way and not let situations which are tense degenerate into violence and then people end up either in prison or dead. So the next PNP government has to focus on these things because they are important. Comrades, when I look at the way this country is being governed by the JLP, it gives me great concern. Even the water situation that was in the news. the KSAMC, which is the local Board of Health under the Public Health Act, the relevant committee for many, many years receives reports on the water quality in the Kingston metropolitan area, the wider KMA area. It so happens that a recent report showed that there were some problems with water quality in certain places. And quite properly, in my opinion, the committee passed a resolution calling for something to be done about this. The government never liked the fact that this was being exposed, and instead of being transparent about it and saying, okay, yes, there's a problem, but we're looking at it and we have a plan to remediate it, to protect the public. No, what have they done? Well, the NWC said they're not going to attend the meetings anymore of the KSAMC. And then they had to adjust that position. And the most recent position I heard is, well, they will attend, but they're not going to share the test results. They're going to publish it on our website. To me, that is childish and petty. That's not the way to run a country. Transparency, sharing information with the relevant body which has statutory responsibilities for this issue. That is the way to go. And we have another issue, I believe, in Duns River to do with water quality as well. This government wants to cover things up rather than deal with them frontally. You build confidence by being open and honest about things and adopting an approach which is pragmatic and sensible to resolve them. You don't build confidence by pushing things under the carpet. Comrades, we have a government that has lost the trust and confidence of the Jamaican people. There have been so many instances of corruption under their watch. So many instances of nepotism and cronyism. 8 of the MPs are under investigation for illicit enrichment, which is a serious corruption offense, including the Prime Minister himself, including the Prime Minister of the country. That matter has been referred for further investigation to the Financial Investigations Division, which has responsibility for investigating serious financial crimes, and to Tax Administration Jamaica in respect of certain concerns relating to tax. The Prime Minister's response to all this is to seek to challenge the Integrity Commission in court to effectively strike down the country's main anti-corruption body and to also strike down the offense of illicit enrichment, which is an important tool in the armory against corruption, and trying to say that it is unconstitutional. It is putting Jamaica in a bad light. And quite frankly, the law ought to say that if you can't get certified, you can't put yourself. Some are go charge for corruption. Yeah, man. Diamonds forever. Mighty diamonds. So, comrades, we stand by the Integrity Commission. It was the People's National Party that developed the legislation to create the Integrity Commission, to amalgamate several different bodies that were addressing those issues in a very inefficient and ineffective way, consolidate them under a single piece of legislation with prosecutorial powers, with power to share information and to receive information, so that we could really get the scourge of corruption at the highest level right down through the society tackled. And yet we have a Prime Minister who is seeking to undermine the legislation. A sitting Prime Minister. As Damon would say, what can go so? We will support the work of the Integrity Commission. We will support their independence. We will ensure they have the resources to do their job. All we ask of them is fair and due process in how they carry out their work, and professionalism and non-partiality in all respects. And the ships will fall where they may. That is the approach of the PNP, and that will be our approach when we form government under my leadership. Comrades, apart from these governance issues, there are some serious needs that the country is facing and which the next PNP government has to step up and deal with. The education system needs significant work. because it is not producing the results that can develop the country in the way it needs to develop. High percentages, over 30% of primary school students leave primary school without being able to read and write and do basic arithmetic. We have to fix that. We will put in the necessary investments to turn that around because we know our children are bright. And the only reason that's happening is because there are other things, other challenges at the home and at school that are preventing them from reaching their full potential. That's why we say we'll provide at least one nutritious hot meal per day for every needy student, both at primary and secondary level. Investing an additional $9 billion to do that annually. That's why we're going to tackle some of the issues around transportation costs for parents to send their children to school, especially in rural areas where they don't have the JUTC to take them on a subsidized basis. We'll be providing a subsidy to needy families to cover their costs in relation to school transportation for their children. And we want to ensure that education can be that which transforms the opportunities of families that are coming out of relative low-income, difficult circumstances and can move up the ladder. So we say any family which produces a child who qualifies to go to tertiary, university or college and is the first in that household to do so will get a full scholarship under the People's National Party so that they can attend college. And when they become a university graduate or a college graduate, they can then help their siblings to step up as well. In the area of housing, there's a lot of work to be done. All the Operation Pride schemes across the country, I visited most of them. There are many of them that have done extremely well. There are some where there's still infrastructure to be dealt with, land titling to be dealt with. We intend to finish all of those that are unfinished. And we intend to focus also on improving the conditions of other informal settlements because that is a pressing social, economic, and security need of the country so that those people can live in dignity, they can get proper infrastructure, they can get proper titles for the properties that they occupy, and they can move forward in life. We're going to... We're going to restore the National Housing Trust to its original purpose, started by the great Michael Joshua Manley, Michael Norman Manley. It was an institution to provide housing solutions to ordinary Jamaicans, the working people. The government has for the last 9 years taken $11.4 billion a year out of the National Housing Trust. Every year, $11.4 billion towards the budget of the country. And they talk about no new taxes. We're going to put an end to that. We want to restore the National Housing Trust. Right now, for most of the mortgages that they disburse, they are no longer funding those mortgages, that's the National Housing Trust. They're outsourcing it to the private banking sector, which is causing the borrowers to incur additional fees and costs. And the National Housing Trust has to pay a subsidy to subsidize the interest rate on those bank loans, which is costing the National Housing Trust even more resources. So we want to recapitalize the National Housing Trust. We're going to also put in land, public land in there that can be developed because we want to build 50,000 affordable housing units in the first 5 years of our government. And we're going to put the land in without a cost to the buyer of the house, so that the cost of the house won't include a component for land. And that will reduce the price of the house to the purchaser and make it more affordable still. And we're also looking at, for youngsters up to the age of 35, who have been throwing a National Housing Trust for at least 2 years as contributors, we will allocate a $1 billion a year grant from within the resources of the National Housing Trust, having allowed them to keep the $11.4 billion every year going forward. They will put $1 billion per year to provide grants for first-time homeowners who are buying a house towards a deposit of $500,000 per person. And we have a novel idea which we call rent to own. So for those people who can't produce a pay slip to show how much they earn because they're not formally employed to an employer who generates a pay slip, they might be doing a little selling, they might be running their own little business informally or whatever it is, but them make them money sufficient to service a mortgage. They just can't show their income. We will allow them to go into occupation of the house as a tenant, paying rent at the level that the mortgage would be, and once they've shown that they can pay the rent on a consistent basis over a period of time, we're thinking of 6 months, they will be allowed to draw down the mortgage and buy the house. We will treat their 6 months of payments as being proof of income without a pay slip, and they can become an owner rather than a tenant. So comrades, we are thinking about the needs of the Jamaican people. When it comes to training, we want to invest heavily in training. We see that we need to partner very closely with the business community to ensure that the training that our young people get is relevant to the type of jobs that are being created in the 21st century. So we want to match on a dollar-for-dollar basis any investment that an established business puts into training. We, through the Heart Trust, will match that to encourage them to roll out and deepen their training opportunities for young people. And we're going to reposition Heart as well to make it more relevant in terms of its offering to the people who are being trained. And we want to certify as many persons as possible who have a trade and a skill but may not have presently been certified. We're going to proactively seek them out and do whatever is necessary to get them certified so they can earn income from the type of jobs where they have to show that they have a certification for that. Comrades, these are some of the things that we are committed to doing to make Jamaica a better place. Beach access is another issue. Right now, more and more of the beaches of this country are not accessible to the Jamaican people. And many parishes hardly have any public beaches still available to our people. And we want to hold our vibes and hold our meds and chill out on the beach. You can't get access, or if you have to pay a big money to get access on a private beach. And we are going to use the law and enter into discussions with beach owners to provide rights of access to the Jamaican people to quality beaches across the country. And in terms of agriculture, we see the need for agriculture to become one of the main pillars of the economy. Right now, it's at around 9% of GDP. We want to take it up to much closer to 20% over time. The Minister of Agriculture in waiting has a plan to establish an agricultural development fund to support farmers in the country with fertilizer, storage facilities, improving farm roads, and providing access to credit through the PC banks so they can have the working capital to do their farming.
Special dedication to all farmers.
Oh, you mean?
Never sentence or in a Nova. Cause this is Mr. Cat, the beer back rider. The style when me go get them and go run Jamaica. And in a London and me say in America. And in a Canada and me say in a China. It name the minute.
Yeah man, Super Cat, live and direct. And to all ganja farmers in the country. In 2015, it was I, Marky G, who pioneered the legislation to decriminalize ganja, so you could not be arrested or charged for a spliff or a chalice or a draw of weed. And we do that. And we established the medical and therapeutic ganja industry as a lawful industry in the country. But the way the labor rights have dealt with the thing, it has excluded small farmers from access to the regulated industry. We're going to change that because the industry is for them. It's them who build the brand for Jamaica and ganja. It's them who suffer the tribulation in the years of prohibition. Police with helicopter are searching marijuana. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Diamonds forever. Pure diamonds will play tonight. And comrades, this week was a notable week because the PNP won a great court victory. Myself and Lowton and the other MPs had stood up against the use of states of emergency as a routine policing tool. That was something that is the Labourite government of Andrew Holness introduced. Something which the Constitution never contemplated as happening. The state of emergency mechanism in the Constitution is the last line of defense to prevent the state from being subverted, the democratic order and system from being overthrown. That is what the state of emergency is for. And it's a very powerful tool. It suspends rights, rights of access to the court, freedom of movement, your liberty. And when I see them start use this thing all over like a confetti, and it wasn't even working either, because the murder rates did not go down in the period of when they were using those states of emergency intensively. All it did was push criminals from the area where they were and they go somewhere else and start terrorize places that were previously relatively calm and quiet. So we took the matter to court to seek the ruling of the court. And the Constitutional Court in a very strong and well-reasoned judgment ruled in favor of Dayton Campbell as General Secretary of the People's National Party and said all of those states of emergency that the Labourites had introduced are null and void and unconstitutional.
You are tired, missing the face. Can't get me out of the race. Oh man, said I'm in your place. And then you try back,
Yeah, man, the great Bob Marley from Trenchtown in Iman constituency. Junglist to the world. I don't even know what happened in the match tonight. Semi-final play tonight, you know. Anyway, that's a whole different story. So, comrades, I am happy that since 2020, when I became president of your party, we have turned the party around. We were at a very low ebb at the time. We only had 14 MPs out of 63. The party had internal issues. Little isms and schisms that are going all over. And made have a bob and weave and pull in who fi pull in and hug up who fi hug up and kiss who fi get kiss and all of them things there. And deal with everybody on a level. Except the little poisonous one that we have to shove out. Yeah, man. And look where they're now. We have been consistently ahead in the polls for over a year, comrades. And the people of Jamaica are looking to us to deliver the platform of policies, some of which I referred to tonight in this presentation. So I say to you tonight, the great comrades of Milk River Division, the great comrades of Southwest Clarendon, stalwarts of our party, workers and warriors who have delivered this seat consistently for our party. Are you ready to do it again when the time comes? Are you ready for the victory? Are you ready for Lowton Cousins? Big up on yourself, comrades. The word is love. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people, I say.